You're still rolling on the high. Third album comes out 1998, I believe. Let's Ride. This is your highest charting album. Goes gold. Number 20 on the charts. Single. Matter of fact, you got an interesting story. I think the first single off that album was Let's Ride.
Facts.
Master P, Silk the Shocker. How'd you get them on that album? How'd you get them on that single?
P was filming something. He was either filming one of his movies that he was making. I can't even remember what it was. I was with Tina Davis at the time. She was like one of my A&R people that was helping me navigate putting this project together. And a gentleman named Teddy Bishop had produced the track for Let's Ride. Noontime Productions and all those guys at the time. They were fire hot. And I heard this track that it had that Southern bounce. It had like an ATL type of feel to it. And the guy in the song, there was a voice in the song saying, that's right, that's right, that's right. That's right, that's right. It was real tucked down. But when I heard it, it sounded like he was saying, let's ride, let's ride, let's ride. So that's when I came up with the idea. I remember singing the hook. I said, let's ride. Oh, no, I don't doubt it. Your love is about it, about it. I was like, woo. I said, to sing your love is about it, about it. Oh, that's fire. I was like, well, hold on. Out of respect, I cannot sing that lyric unless the guy that said about it, gave me the approval. So I have to scrap the whole song unless P says that will work. Now, I'm not going to try and send him the record or sit into his label or do this or that or the other. So I get the big black truck. I got the thing on the big 20s at the time. I find out where he's filming. I roll up onto his film set. I got the track with the core, just the track. And I pull up on set. P gets into the passenger side of the car. He and I are sitting on his film set. I put that joint in and that bang, like it's going in. And he's in the car and, he started, me and P just sitting in the front seat of the car. And I said, I sang the hook for him. I said, let's ride all night. I don't doubt it. Your love is about it, and I'm so excited. Girl, I wanna ride it. And I sang that, and I was like, P, I think this could be a big record, but I can't say about it in the song unless you there to put the stamp of approval on it. And P is like, yo, I think you got something here, and yeah, I'm gonna do the song. I'm gonna do the song with you. And so it was like, okay, I didn't just get the seal of approval. He said he was going to be on the song. So that's how that record came about. Now, P is a shrewd businessman because he also got his producers to produce a Beats by the Pound version of the song. And he brought his brother, Silk the Shocker, to be on the record. All those pieces, came together for us to have another number one record.
Yeah, number one record went platinum. Big record for you.
Yeah.
You wrote something right around this time that I had no idea you were a part of. It's a record that I love and I've been loving for years. I didn't realize you wrote or co-wrote the Deborah Cox Nobody's Supposed to Be Here record. I had no idea you were part of that. Were you and Deborah cool? Is this a record that you wrote and sent it to her? And then her people came back and was like, yo, we want to use this on her album. How'd that come together?
Nobody's Supposed to Be Here was co-written, produced by the same guy that sat across from me in church for all those childhood years, Shep Crawford, the guy that sat on the organ.
Shout to
I
Shep.
sat on the piano. Shep would put together tracks and music and come with choruses and have ideas for songs. And because he was a signed producer to me, remember, I was the guy that had all these managers. I was trying to take everybody along. When it came to my band and it came to my producer, everybody, I was trying to take everybody that was around me along. And Shep was one of those guys who immediately, when everything popped off, he came along. He became my music director. He became the key producer and the right-hand man of most of the successful stuff I've done throughout the years. So Shep had the idea for Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. He had the hook and everything. And when he played it for me, it was just like, this song is amazing. Some people know the story. The song was not written for Deborah Cox. The song was written for Miss Patti LaBelle. The song was originally created specifically written for Patti LaBelle, even without her commissioning the record or their label saying, hey, give us a Patti record. We wrote the record with Patti LaBelle in mind. So just for the record, for those that don't understand, the how did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. When it goes to the second verse of that song, she says, this time I swear I'm through. But if only you knew, that if only you knew was a play on Patti LaBelle's If Only You Knew. So these are the sensibilities that the rap singer, that Russell's rap singer, of taking those rap lyrics and then throwing them into the song. If only you knew how many times I said those words and fall again. When will I ever learn? Knowing these tears I've cried. This lovely black butterfly. When Patti would do the things with her arm, black butterfly. I'm writing with Patti in mind. We basically, because my wife is like the broker, she's like the freeway Ricky Ross. Like she's taking these records and she's hitting the different, she's taking the product into these different labels, trying to broker different type of production deals with the different labels. She's talking to Sylvia Rhone over here. She's talking to Clive Davis over here. She's talking over here, trying to figure out who can I align us with to be able to get 5 records here, 10 records here. And Clive at the time, everybody wanted that record right there. A lot of people wanted that record. We went to Clive because Clive was like, yeah, I could hear Whitney Houston, on this record. Or I could hear Aretha Franklin on this record. At that time, Clive had Aretha, he had Faith Evans, through Puff at the time, who had Faith. And so we got all these options. And when you say this song could go on Whitney Houston, or, because Patti LaBelle heard the record, she didn't feel it. We wrote that record, and then 2 years later, the song is still sitting around, like 2 years later. And so when Clive says he's going to take the record, give it to Whitney, give it to this person, give it to that person, Puff is like, yo, I'll make it Faith Evans' first single. And we're like, oh, that could be a Faith Evans first single? He's like, yeah, but I'm going to need the publishing on it, and then I'll pay y'all to take the record. And we and Shep are like, I don't think that's what we're going to do with this record. Like, you're going to take all the publishing on and give us a check. Like, and that's some of the game that was happening back then. So we go to Clive. Hey, if you're going to put it on Whitney, if you're going to put it on one of these other artists, let's go. And then Clive basically comes back and says, I'm going to do this record on Deborah. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard it was going to go on Deborah, I was like, man, you got Faith, you got Whitney, you got all these. Oh, come on. That was my initial thought, because I didn't know Deborah like that. I didn't know how timeless, how big her voice was. I knew mostly maybe a dance record or two from her. I didn't know, that she had the capacity. And I think she maybe knew that too. And so when she came in to smash that record, she left no doubt. She left she left nothing on the table, bro. She took everything and put it in her backpack, and she crushed that record to the point it was just no doubt. And so that's how the record made its way to Deborah, who smashed the record, but it was originally written for Patti LaBelle.
Yeah, these are great stories, and I never heard that story before, especially the fact that it was initially written with Patti LaBelle in mind. Wow. In 1999, you drop your Get It On Tonight album. Another gold record comes out of it, big single, Get It On Tonight. You're moving. What goes up eventually always comes down. We know that. But not just professionally. Right around this time, I don't know if it's 99, if it's 2000, your marriage, you had to look this thing dead in the face. Tell me if I got my facts correct. That album drops, you're doing your thing out there. Was it somebody in your family who threatened to say, look, I know what you're doing out there with these different women. Either you're going to tell your wife or I'm going to tell your wife. How does that go down?
Yeah, man. My journey in going places back and forth, basically leaving a trail of small relationships or connections with people that were not my wife, those things start to add up. And all of those things were very far away to begin with. And so I flirt with this person, or I open up the door to hang out with these people at a party afterwards. Like they started out seemingly harmless, right? And remember, I wasn't a guy who put my marriage first either. I put the business first. So the whole idea, well, I got to be at these parties. I got to be at the after party. I got to show up here. I got to roll into this spot. You know, I got a strip club anthem with Let's Ride. How you gonna have a song Let's Ride that's in every strip club across America and not do that type of tour and do that? Even though in the song, all these different things, I'm making cries for help, especially by the time I got to Get It On Tonight. I'm living out, you know, I got a girl, but you look good tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm living out, you know, art imitating life or life imitating art, however that goes. So all these different small relationships, but in many different ways, very toxic, very dangerous relationships are all far away. And so I try and insulate myself from that. Okay, I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to do that. God help me, because I love you and I don't want to fail you. I want to be good to my wife. You know, I got a little daughter now about this time. And so I insulate myself. And then the challenges that at one time were external, now they start coming from internal. And so now the people who are closest around me, or the places where attraction and stuff are starting to happen with people I didn't rock with for years. You know what I mean? And so from that standpoint, I had very, very good friends. One of my closest friends to this very day, who watched me, who saw me fall, who caught me, you know what I'm saying, in compromising situations, you know what I'm saying? Like visibly walked in on a tour bus when I got some girl on a tour bus or whatever. We're not doing, you know what I'm saying? We're not having sex, but I got her on the tour bus and that's not my wife. You know what I'm saying? And this person sees it and now they trying to live with, okay, we all out here, we're touring, we're doing this, but my man is out there. We take family vacations together, we do life together. And finally, it becomes a lie that it's hard for anybody to keep, especially if somebody loves you, you know? And so basically, we're planning to go on a family vacation somewhere, like we always do. And they were like, hey, look, hey, tell my wife, we're not going. We're not going on vacation with y'all. And we're like, yo, this is what we do. What do you mean you're not going? She's like, yeah, Montell knows why. You know, ask him. And just tell, you know, if he won't tell you, I will. And so my wife basically comes and she's like, hey, what's going on? You know, our friends said that you have something you need to share, and that if you won't say, and I know at this point, if I don't tell my wife and she hears it from someplace else, I potentially am going to die. Meaning Mrs. Jordan is probably going to catch a case. No, this is real talk. Like, I'm thinking, if this life and everything that we're living, if she hears this from someplace else, chances are I don't live through this. I said, if I tell her, chances are I can lose everything or half of everything, but I can walk away with my life. So literally, I made a business decision. I made a life choice that it was time for me to come clean and tell my wife, you know what I'm saying, let her know what was happening. And so that was where, during that time, right around that time of that album, that unraveled.